Good day everyone, my name is Albany D. Ortega. We are the Group 7 and here are the names of the group members as follows. We will be reporting week 15 and 16 which entitled Renaissance, Baroque, and Rococo periods. Before we will begin, let me first discuss to you the learning outcomes of this report. Number 1. Identify, compare, and contrast distinct characteristics of arts during Renaissance and Baroque Rococo periods. Number 2. Identify the representative artists and arts during the Renaissance, Baroque, and Rococo periods. Number 3. Evaluate the works of art using the concept and ideas of the periods mentioned. The last one is create artwork guided by Baroque Rococo styles and principles. What is Renaissance art? Renaissance art is marked by a gradual shift. Gradual shift means a gradual change or process occurs in small stages over a long period of time rather than suddenly. From the abstract forms of the medieval period to the representational forms of the 15th century, subjects grew from most biblical scenes to include portraits, episodes from classical religion, and events from contemporary life. Human figures are often rendered in dynamic poses showing expression, using gestures, and interacting with one another. They are not flat but suggest mass, and they often occupy a realistic landscape rather than stand against a gold background as some figures do in the art of the Middle Ages. Renaissance art, painting, sculptures, architecture, music, and literature produced during the 40th and 50th and 60th centuries in Europe under the combined influences of an increased awareness of nature, a revival of classical learning, and a more individualistic view of man. The first one is Mona Lisa on 1503. It was created by Leonardo da Vinci. So what is Mona Lisa? Mona Lisa is also called Portrait of Lisa Gherardini, wife of Francesco del Giocondo. Oil painting on a popular wood panel by Leonardo da Vinci, probably the world's most famous painting. It was painted sometime between 1503 and 1519, when Leonardo was living in Florence, and it now hangs in the Louvre Museum, Paris, where it remained an object of pilgrimage in the 21st century. Why is it famous? The Mona Lisa's fame is the result of many chance circumstances combined with the painting's inherent appeal. There's no doubt that the Mona Lisa is a very good painting inherent appeal. Why is it special? One of the most popular reasons for the worldwide appeal of the Mona Lisa is its smile. Da Vinci used optical illusion to create a unique smile through perspective and shadow work. Pieta by Michelangelo on 1498-1499. What is Pieta? The Pieta is a work of Renaissance sculpture by Michelangelo Buonarroti, housed in St. Peter's Basilica, Vatican City. It is the first of a number of works of the same theme by the artist. This famous work of the art depicts the body of Jesus on the lap of his mother Mary after the crucifixion. What is the meaning of this artwork? The Pieta was a popular subject among Northern European artists. It means pity or compassion and represents Mary sorrowfully contemplating the dead body of her son, which is Jesus, which she holds on her lap. Filippo Brunelleschi, 1436, Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore. What is Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore? Florence Cathedral, formerly the Cattedrale di Santa Maria del Fiore, is the Cathedral of Florence in Italy. It was begun in 1296 in the Gothic style to a design of Arnolfo di Cambio and was structurally completed by 1436 with a dome engineered by Filippo Brunelleschi. What it may represent? The Cathedral of St. Maria del Fiore, also referred to as the Duomo of Florence, is a religious building symbolizing the turning point of Florentine culture.
Good day everyone. To those who don't know me yet, My name is Mark Anthony Il Palagtiu. I'm 22 years old and I'm currently taking up Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, major in Animal Science, and I'm currently a second year irregular student. I will be the next presenter for Group 7. Um, the topic that I'm going to present to you is the Baroque and architectures under the Renaissance, Baroque, and Rococo periods. Okay, first is the introductions. Baroque art and architectures, the visual arts and building designs and constructions produced during the era in the history of Western art that roughly coincides with the 17th century. The earliest manifestation, which occur in Italy, date from the latter decades of the 16th century, while in some regions, notably Germany and colonial South America, certain culminating achievements of Baroque did not occur until the 18th century. The work that distinguishes the Baroque period is stylistically complex, even contradictory. In general, however, the desire to evoke emotional states by appealing to the senses of the senses, often in dramatic ways, underlies its manifestations. Some of the qualities most frequently associated with the Baroque are grandeur, sensuous, rich, okay, richness, drama, vitality, movement, tension, emotional exuberance, and a tendency to blur distinction between the various arts. Okay, for example, this is the Faith in shorts that shows richness, sensors, dramatic, and movement, tension during these times. Okay, next is the origin of the term. The term Baroque probably derived from the Italian word Barocco, which philosophers used during the Middle Ages to describe obstacles in schematic logic. Subsequently, the word came to denote any contorted idea or involute process of thought. Another possible source is the Portuguese word barroco, and in Spanish it's called baroico, used to describe an imperfectly shaped, shaped pearl. In art criticism, the word baroque has come to describe anything irregular, bizarre, or otherwise departing from rules and proportions established during the Renaissance. Until the 19th century, the term always carried the implications of odd, exaggerated, and over-decorated, as you can see on the arts and pictures. It has over-decorated. It was only with Heinrich Wolffen's pioneering study, Renaissance and Baroque 1888, that the term was used as a stylistic designations rather than as a term of thinly veiled abuse, and that as systematic formulations of the characteristic of Baroque styles was achieved. Okay, next is the characteristic of Baroque art and architecture. The work that distinguishes the Baroque period is stylistically complex and even contradictory. Currents of naturalisms and classicism, for example, coexisted and intermingled with the typical Baroque style. In general, however, the desire to evoke the emotional states by appealing to the senses, often in dramatic ways, underlies its manifestations. Some of the qualities most frequently associated with the Baroque are grandeur, sensuous, richness, drama, dynamism, movement, tension, emotional exuberance, and tendency to blur distinctions between the various arts. Okay, we have the three main tendencies of the era. Three broad tendencies had an impact on Baroque art. First is the Counter-Reformation. First was the Counter-Reformation, It's contending with the spread of the Protestant Reformation. The Roman Catholic Church, after the Council of Trent in 1545 to 1563, adopted the propagandist program in which art was to serve as means of stimulating the public space in the church. The Baroque styles that evolves was both sensuous and spiritual. The second tendency was the consolidations of absolute monarchies. Baroque palaces were built on a monumental scale to display the power of the centralized states, a phenomenon best displayed at Versailles. Versailles is from Paris, France. The third tendency was a broadening of human intellectual horizons. Spurred by development in science and explorations of the globe, this produced a new sense of human significance, particularly abated by the Copernican displacement of Earth from the center of the universe and of the infinitudes of the natural world. Okay, architecture, painting, and sculpture. Annibale Carracci and Caravaggio were the two Italian painters who helped usher in the Baroque and whose stylish represent respectively the classiest and realist moods. The painter Artemisia Gentileschi was recognized in the 20th century for her technical skill and ambitious history paintings. And then we have Gian Lorenzo Bernini, whose accomplishments include the designs of the colonnade fronting St. Peter's Basilica, which is the most famous cathedral, a church in Rome or in entire world, was the greatest of the Baroque sculpture architects. These are the four Roman painters and artists, and sculpturists and architecture and architect during the Baroque period. Okay, last one is the artworks during the Baroque periods. Baroque Renaissance periods. First is the St. Peter's Basilica by Gian Lorenzo in Vatican City. Next is the Nicolas Poussin's painting, The Landscape with St. John on Patmos. Next is the Palace of Versailles in Paris, France. And we have for Caravaggio, The Calling of Saint Mateo. And the other one is for Francesco Borroni, The Coffered Ceiling of San Carlo alle Quattro Fontane in Rome, Italy. And then last one is the Artemisia Gentileschi by Judith with her maidservants. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Jaya Prilsi Panwil, and I am here to discuss about Rococo period. So, what is Rococo? Rococo derives from the French word rocaille, which refers to the delicate scroll of the seashell. Originated in Paris about it is century 1700 and was soon adapted throughout France and later in other countries, principally Germany and Austria. In short, Rococo period was spread throughout the European countries. So Rococo, also referred to as late Baroque, is an 18th century artistic movement and style which affected several aspects of the arts including painting, sculpture, architecture, interior design, decoration, literature, music, and theater. So facts about Rococo. The style of Rococo was characterized by a free, graceful movement, a playful use of line and delicate colors. Usually use a pastel colors, light colors. And Jean Antoine Watteau, he is a French, is often referred to us the greatest of the Rococo painters, and his picture of the embarkation for Setira demonstrates the elegance of this style. The Rococo is sometimes considered a final phase of the Baroque period. So there are three popular Rococo artists. So this on the picture shows that those are the three Rococo artists, and also contributed in the movement, left a bountiful collections of Rococo paintings, and shows a elegant opulent paintings. So some popular artwork based on Rococo: the swing, the ballroom ceiling of the Carizonica with ceiling by Giovanni Battista Corosato, the embarkation for Citera, and this French Rococo painting in general was characterized by easygoing, light-hearted treatments of mythological and courtship themes, the introduction of the family as subject, rich and delicate brushwork, a relatively light tonal key, and sensuous coloring. So Rococo in different artistic moods such as furniture and decorative objects, garden designs, architecture, interior designs, painting, and sculpture. So here are the example of their furniture and decorative objects. The way they portray the way they make the furniture and decorative objects is kaning kuan siya, grabe siya ka detailed, o ang iyang design is grabe ka artistic jud. Tas ang garden designs nila is usually in Rococo period was ang ilang garden designs is kanang maze type. So in architecture, ang mga balay nila dito is ang mga buildings is mga Russia Greek mythology nga mga inspired. Ang ilang interior designs is kanang gabi jud kay siya ka detailed nga tsada jud kayo iyahang sulod. So ang painting nila usually they use a light color like pastels, and ang ilahang mga ilang paintings is usually gakuan sila about mythological courtship themes and introduction of family as a subject. Dayon ang ilang sculpture is more on mythological nga mga kuan sculpture. So that's all. Thank you. I hope you learned something from me.
Week 16, Neoclassical and Romantic Period. Neoclassical art arose in composition to overlay decorative and gaudy styles of Rococo and Baroque that were infusing society with the vanity of art culture, based on personal conceit and whimsy. It brought about the general revival in classical that mirrored what was going on in political and social arenas of the time, leading to the French Revolution. The primary neoclassicist belief was that art should express the idea virtues in life and could improve the viewer by imparting a moralizing message. It had the power to civilize, reform, and transform society as society itself was being transformed by new approaches to government and the rising forces of the Industrial Revolution driven by scientific discovery and invention. Neoclassical architecture was being based on the principle of simplicity, symmetry, and mathematics, which were seen as virtues of the arts in ancient Greece and Rome. It also evolved the more recent influences of the equity-informed 16th century Renaissance classicism. The first picture is an example of neoclassical artwork. Psyche Revive by Cupid's Kiss by Antonio Canova shows the mythological lovers at a moment of high emotion. It represents the god Cupid in the height of love and tenderness immediately after awakening Psyche with a kiss in 1777. Next is The Wanderer Above a Sea of Fog in 1818. It is the quintessential romantic artwork. It thought that the artist Caspar David Friedrich is glorifying the emotion of curiosity and hope and glorifying nature. So the man in the picture, also known as the Wanderer, is representing curiosity. And the last is the Pantheon in 1755 to 1790, designed by Jacques Germain Soufflet and Jean-Baptiste Rondelet. It was created with the intention of combining the simplicity of the Gothic architecture and with the state lines of the Greek architecture. It was either used as religious or as a patriotic building. This is an example of a neoclassic art